Assalamu alaikum everyone, how are you guys doing? So in my last video, I talked to you guys about my own personal journey of learning the Arabic language, how I went from zero to almost fluent. Well, that video was more of a personal, memoir of sorts, I guess. This video will focus on the main tips that I think are super important when learning the Arabic language. These are the tips that I wish I knew when I started and I wish I focused on when I started learning the Arabic language. And I want to give these tips to you guys because if you're starting to learn the Arabic language or you will eventually start to learn it, these tips will be very handy and will help you a lot, inshallah. So let's begin. So the first tip I want to give you guys is start with a program and make that program your focus as much as you can. A lot of people have this idea when learning a new language, like, okay, you know what, I'll just go to an Arab country and I will magically suck in all the Arabic language through osmosis. It doesn't work like that. These Arabic programs like Bayna Yadayk, the Medina program, they are designed to help people who don't know the language, who are new, who are beginners. Especially if you're a beginner, this is hugely important, finding a program and sticking with it. Because when you look at Bayna Yadayk or the Medina ones, they start with the super fundamental basics. If you look at any of those books, you're going to start learning words like door, I want to go to the store, or things you might say when you're going to the doctor. These things are the base of the language, of any language, really. And what's good about any program is you're going to learn so many new words in the beginning. That's why always like the first level is a little bit harder for most students, especially for me. It's just memorizing new language, grammar, and it gets kind of like overloaded. But it's so important because you're building up your base. If your base is weak, then the entire building will crumble. But if you have a strong foundation of, I know the basics of the grammar, of the Arabic language grammar, and I know the basics of like the vocabulary words, some verbs, some phrases, then you can build upon that with some other words you might not use as much or some like more advanced grammar. So yeah, start with a program. The Medina books, which obviously I'm a fan of, they really set you up in learning a good base of grammar, and they're setting you up with like the Ta'bir and Qira'ah books, especially with, and the Tadribat books, with learning some good vocabulary words that you will actually end up using on your day-to-day life. Outside of just getting a program, you also got to stick with it. Make it the central focus. This is something that I've seen with myself and a lot of students of knowledge when learning Arabic. They find Arabic to be the boring part of being a Medina student, or the boring part of, being a student of knowledge, because you're just learning like vocabulary words. You're learning how to say, I went to the store, he ran to the store. And that's, to be frank, very boring for most people, especially for me. And one mistake that I made, and a lot of other students have made too, is they'll have the Arabic program be like, okay, you know what, I gotta go to school 5 days a week from 8 to 12. Khalas, that's it. I'm gonna focus on, listening to Islamic lectures. I'm gonna focus on reading some books in English so I can gain some fiqh and hadith and aqidah. No, you're going about it the wrong way. Make the Arabic, when you're in the Mahad or when you're in any Arabic program, make it the main focus. Trust me on this, guys. If you really focus on learning the Arabic language, focus on learning the program that you're doing, then it will open the door for you. It will make it so much easier for you in your journey of being a student of knowledge, or your journey of understanding the Quran, understanding the hadith, the aqwal, the sayings of the salaf and the scholars. This will help you out so much, more so than, I'll have Arabic as, the school time, and everything else I'm going to do it in English. With that in mind, guys, my second tip I want to give you guys is read and listen a lot in Arabic. Make it your primary focus. It's so important for you guys, for anyone, to just read and listen to anything that you can find in Arabic. Change your like your YouTube. Don't make your YouTube primarily focused on English. Maybe in the beginning when you're on the first level of Arabic, you don't even know any Arabic, that's fine, whatever. But once you get into the second, third level where you can understand, really focus on listening and reading Arabic. One advice my Ta'bir teacher gave me was, he said, go to a bookstore, go to, let's say, the young adult kids section, and grab a kid's book, which I know sounds stupid. Like you left your home country to study Islam, to go to Medina, and you're just going to be reading like a kid's book. But these kids' books, they give you so many new vocabulary words that a book in Aqidah might not do as much. These Islamic books, the books on Aqidah, Hadith, Fiqh, you should read those. Those are really important too, obviously. However, they're going to give you a lot of terminology that you're not going to use like in your day-to-day life. You're not going to use most of the time. The only time they're going to be used is when reading those specific books or when conversing a fiqh position or whatever. And I know what you're saying. You know, you left your home country and you want to become a scholar. So obviously you're going to read the Sheikhs by Sheikh Albani, Ibn Uthaymeen, Ibn Qayyim. And of course, like, I have those books with me. Like, I also read those books. But when you're starting out and you're in Muswa 2, Muswa 3, try your best to read those kids' books because they will greatly enhance your Arabic vocabulary. Also, when it comes to the other part, listening, I would say this is even more important than reading. Listen a lot in Arabic. Personally, I didn't do this in the beginning. As I said, I had the stupid mentality of, I'm going to go to my Arabic classes, I'm going to suck in the information, and then outside is all English. And that hindered me in learning Arabic so much. Once I started focusing on listening, and what I would do is I would just find anything in Arabic that I was interested in, even if it wasn't 100% like, you know, a debate that Sheikh Albani had or a lesson from Sheikh Abdul Razak al-Badr. It might be just a guy doing a vlog, or it might be just a guy talking about tech stuff. Like, I would just listen to those because they build your vocabulary. I find like whatever thing you're interested in and find it in Arabic and do a switch from English or whatever the case may be to Arabic and just listen a lot. And it's through that listening that you'll understand like, oh, this word has this meaning, or oh, I've been saying it wrong. It's actually this way in saying it. So through listening and reading, you'll pick up a lot on the Arabic language, but also on the culture of the Arabs and how they talk, how they communicate with one another, which is super important. Okay, a little intermission here. Since this is my final semester in the Arabic program in Medina, I'm graduating, I'm finishing the Mahad program. I want to give you guys the knowledge that Medina gave me, and I want to give it to you guys. So inshallah, I'm planning to do a summer Arabic course, doing the first level of the Medina Arabic program. This is great if you're planning to be a Medina student, or you're accepted and you're coming to Medina next year, or if you just want to put your foot in the water and learn Arabic. So in the description down below, if you guys are interested, there's a Google form with some questions for you guys on how you would want this course to be. This is my first time doing a course online, and with that being in mind, this is my first time, I want to get your guys' feedback on how you guys would want this course to be. I'm going to set this course at a really reasonable price so the most amount of people can benefit and learn the first level of the Arabic program. So please guys, finish the Google form down below. If I get a lot of people, like 20, 30 people who are interested and who are ready to learn the Arabic language and answer those questions down below, my next video coming up, inshallah, will be on the Arabic course and what it will consist of and all that great stuff. So please fill it down, guys, and let's continue with the video. My third tip for you guys, while studying Arabic, write down new stuff. Have a notebook with you. I've been doing this now since I'm in Medina, where I have my own personal notebook with me, where I write down the new vocabulary words, some new phrases, or whatever the case may be. And while reading a book, I'll just, in the margins inside the book itself say, oh, what does this word mean? I look it up. Okay, it means this. And I'll just write it out while reading. Now, I've never been someone to be that type of guy that goes like, you know what? I'm going to study 10 words every single day. I'm going to sit down for an hour, open a notebook, look at the words I have, 10 words. I'm just going to memorize them. Oh, ذهب, go. No, I've never been that type of guy, because a lot of language is usage, not just memorizing. You can have an entire set of vocabulary, but if you don't know how to use it, it's not that important. When I'm telling you guys to write down these words, it's not in the sense of how other YouTubers have talked about it of, have 5 words a day to memorize. My most important thing when I'm telling you guys to write down is you might come across a word while reading or even listening to a lecture, and you're like, what does that mean? And if you write it down, like, okay, I'm going to write it down, I'll go on Google Translate, look it up, and then write down the meaning. It's more of an active way of learning than just passively listening, passively reading. So whenever I'm listening to a lecture, or I'm at the Haram listening to a scholar and I have a book out or my notebook, I hear a new word, I immediately just write it down. I write it down, look up the meaning of it, and then I might even come up with a synonym. That's a good way to do it too. Once you get more advanced, if you can find a way to translate the word in Arabic, so from Arabic to Arabic, that's a lot better because you're like sticking with the language. But as a beginner, the main thing is just write it down. And it's not even necessary to memorize or sit down and memorize. And maybe just look at it once in a while. Like sometimes with my notebook, I'll just look at the word like, oh, okay, this means this. And that's it, and close the book. But I'm not going to force myself to sit down and memorize it. It's just a reflective thing. When I'm watching a video, I'm going to write it down. It's more of an active way of learning. When reading a book, the most important thing is to grab a pen and write down on the book itself the words you learned. For example, let me take out this book. If I open the book up, I can see that I wrote down in the margin. See, I'll like circle something here. I will write, excess. This is what it means. Overwhelms him. Like this is how Google translated the word, and I'll have it. And when I'm reading it, or I reread that chapter, which rereading is important. But anyway, I'll look at it like, oh, this means overwhelms him. This means excess, or whatever the word is. And it makes it more of an active way of reading. You should always have a pen with you and write down as you're reading. And try your best first to see the context. Say, what does this mean? Do I know the meaning without looking at Google Translate? If you don't, go to Google Translate or go to a dictionary or whatever the case may be and see it and just write it down. And the words that you have in your book, whatever it is, go on your notebook, the one that I told you guys, and write it down there. Again, the notebook is not for memorizing. I don't suggest for you guys to sit down 10 hours a day and just memorize words. Not beneficial. It's just a way for you to actively participate in listening and reading the Arabic language. That's the most important thing, is being active and not just passively going over it. Fourth tip I want to give you guys is find a friend or a couple of friends and talk with them only in Arabic. This is so important. And talking in Arabic is, while reading and listening is more of you like grasping and getting the information. Talking is you putting your knowledge to the test, like really saying, do I really know the Arabic language? Like, am I really good at it? And trust me, you'll see that when you start talking Arabic, you're going to make so many mistakes. You're going to say things wrong. You're going to say sentences that people are like, what is he saying? But that's the process. It's like a kid. It's like when a kid is learning a new language, they're going to they're just grabbing information. And then when they're trying to talk, like sometimes no one but the mom really understands what the kid is saying, because mom's like used to the kid's dialogue. That's the same thing with us. Like, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, but if you have a group of friends who are dedicated to learning the Arabic language and who are dedicated to speak with you in Arabic and only in Arabic, this is more advanced, obviously, maybe not in the beginning, but once you're like, let's say in the Muswa 2, or you're getting more into the advanced learning of the Arabic language and you can understand a lot, set a rule with your friends that, hey, we're only going to talk Arabic, specifically and only Arabic. I have one friend here in Medina. We both speak English and we both know Albanian because he's Albanian as well. However, we only talk Arabic. I literally never talk English or Albanian with him, unless if I don't know a word, he doesn't know a word. But what's great about this friend is he always corrects my mistakes. He always goes like, hey, Petrit, it's actually not said this way, but it's said this way. Oh, in this word in this context doesn't make sense, but this word actually makes sense in this context. And that has helped me so much. When you make mistakes, it really like hits you, and when somebody fixes it, you're not going to really forget it. And that's the most beautiful thing when having a friend that's there for you to help you out, or you're going to help out somebody else, is you guys will learn so many things from each other. And I remember when I'm talking with my friend here in Medina, he might come up, he will say a new word. And I'm like, what does that mean? What's that word mean? And then he'll tell me, I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. And then I'll say a new word, and he's like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, let me explain it to you in Arabic. And it's just practicing with one another. And I have no like embarrassment with my friend, because he's not going to make fun of me for messing up, or he's not going to make fun of me for not knowing how to say a specific word. He's there to help me. That's why it's so important to have a friend or a group of friends. If you can get a group of your friends to do it, that's the best thing out there, of just talking Arabic and being ready to help each other out when needed. Talking is so important, guys. And lastly, guys, the last tip I want to give you guys is be consistent with learning Arabic. Arabic is not a part-time thing. Arabic is not, a college course that you take. You go, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, I'll just go to class from 8 to 12. Khalas, I'm done. Go back home. No, you got to be consistent with it. On the weekends, when you're on vacation, during summer break, throughout the year, you have to be consistent. If you're not, you will lose the Arabic language. You will forget so much. And this is something that I've witnessed, and a lot of my friends have too, that when we go home during the summer, because obviously not most of our family members don't speak Arabic, when we come back to Medina, we're really struggling a little bit to talk. And we're like, dude, we had 1 year of talking and focusing on Arabic. Why is it so hard for us now? And the reason why is because there was a huge cutoff of being consistent with the Arabic language, that it takes a while for you to get back to it. If I were to give an analogy, it's kind of like going to the gym. If you go to the gym, you're consistent with it, you're building muscle, you're getting stronger, you're, pumping more iron. Then all of a sudden, if you stop for 3 months, try going back to the weight you were at. You're not going to do it. You're going to see I'm down 10 pounds, 15 pounds. What's going on here? And it'll take a month or maybe 2 months to get back to the level that you were at. Try not to do that. Be consistent. That's the most important thing. And if you take everything that I told you guys, these 4 tips previously, and you're consistent with them, you're consistent in your program, you're consistent in writing it down, you're consistent in reading, listening, and speaking, then you will learn the Arabic language. The 2 main reasons why people don't learn Arabic is, 1, they don't try. They don't try with a program. They don't try reading, listening, or talking. And 2, they're not consistent. If you don't have these 2 things, you won't learn Arabic. But if you really focus on reading, listening, and talking, and just being consistent, even if it's consistently bad, you're bad at the Arabic language like I was. If you're consistent, you'll learn, inshallah. So yeah, guys, that was the top 5 tips for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this video helps you guys out with your Arabic language program, learning Arabic. And I'll see you guys next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.